good day. Summer's arrived. It's warming up. This tree has fallen right across an old trail here. I figured it was a good place to stop and have a drink. Now, some people say that woodsmen didn't carry water bottles. They knew where to find water. They didn't need a water bottle. Well, I know where to find water when there is water. I could go down to the bottom of this valley, but I know for a fact that the water holes down there are dry. I could go southeast. There's a rock plateau over there that might have some water up on top, but I doubt it because it's been hot and there hasn't been any rain for a month. There's another rock plateau that has water bowls in it, straight off to the east. But they'll be dry too. And anyway, I'm not going in that direction, so it doesn't do me any good. Now, if I was following a creek or a river and it wasn't dry, then I probably wouldn't need to take a water bottle. But you never know when you may have to leave that creek or that river. And once you do that, how do you know where there's going to be the next water hole unless you know the land pretty well? And like I say, I know this one pretty well. And I know for a fact the water holes are dried up. If you had a water bottle with you, even if it was empty, well then you could fill it up at the creek or the river before you left. But if you don't have anything, I dare say there were a lot of woodsmen like myself that you don't hear about that died from lack of water. And like I say, you don't hear about those. So I carry a water bottle with me. I learnt the hard way. I went out hunting one day, and there was a creek. That was fine, so I didn't worry about it. And I got up into the area that I wanted to hunt, and the brush was really thick, really heavy. Unbeknown to me, as I was passing through the brush, I passed through a gap into another valley without realising it. I walked on down the valley, saw some game, shot it, dressed it out, packed it on my back and started back again. I soon became aware that this doesn't look the same. I have a habit of looking behind me when I'm travelling because it always looks different going back to what it does going forward. So it's always a good idea to turn around once in a while if you don't know the ground and just look behind you and see what it looks like. This didn't look familiar to me. I hadn't seen this. So I decided I'd backtrack. I realised then, of course, what must have happened, but that was too late, finding the gap again in all that brush. there was little chance. The ground was such that it wasn't leaving much prints. A lot of sticks and leaves, very hard. It was getting pretty hot and I was getting pretty thirsty. I came across an old shelter, and in that shelter I found a jar, and so I grabbed the jar, and a little while later I found some buffalo hoof prints that were holding water. It was pretty muddy and horrible, but it was water. So I collected the water in the jar and carried it with me, hoping that I wouldn't have to drink it. But no luck. So I decided to climb up out of the valley onto the highest ridge, which I did. And I got to the top and I had a look around, and as luck would have it, there was a tomahawk tree, cut deep, the sort of cut on a tree that a surveyor would make. So I walked around this tree, looking in different directions, and eventually managed to line up another tree that I could see in the distance with another tomahawk cut on it. And it was going directly back down into the valley. So I followed it down with my back to the tree that I just left, got to the next tomahawk tree, sighted it up, found another one, and followed it. Took me down into this valley, back up over the next ridge, back down the next ridge, and finally out into some country that I recognised. And so I headed for home. But I don't know, would you call that luck, or would you call that skill? A little bit of both, I suppose. But I learnt my lesson from that. It doesn't matter if you know where the water is. You never know when your direction might be changed by circumstances. You never know how long you're going to be out there. You might say, tell the wife and children you're going to be out for an hour or so, and you ought to be able to find game. And if you don't find game, you go back. No, you keep walking, you keep looking. By the time I got back that day, it was late afternoon, and I'd left early in the morning, and I was parched. I really didn't want to drink that water out of those buffalo hoof prints. But yeah, I learnt from that. So I carry a canteen, or a water bottle. This is probably the most authentic water bottle you'll get for the early to mid 18th century for a woodsman to carry. These gourds, they weren't native to here, to the New World, but they travelled across the sea from other parts and landed upon our shores and started to grow there, and from there they spread. And these were used a lot in Europe too, so I dare say Europeans brought them over with them too. They would have carried water bottles with them on ship. They couldn't afford not to. So there it is. I made this one a while back. It's got the leather band around it because in cleaning it out I got a little bit too heavy with it, and one of the stones inside that I was using to clean out the pith on the inside actually broke a section out on the side. So I put this leather band around it, and then I sealed the whole thing with beeswax, and no leaks, working fine. The container itself has no weight at all. It's as light as a feather. It's only the water that weighs it out, and this is probably the heaviest item that I would ever carry, would be a water bottle when it's full. Of course, as you drink, I've drunk a fair bit today because it's been pretty hot, and it's been a long walk and I haven't finished yet, and so it's getting lighter as I go. But yeah, I recommend you make yourself one, and to date this is the best water bottle I've had. It's easy to carry, and it has no weight in itself, like I said, which is a plus, because again, as I said, as you drink the water, the weight goes down. Well, I can't stay here all day and chat, so I'll never get back to the farm again. Oh, it tastes good. It tastes good. I carry this one under my belt. I've got enough straps over my body as it is without adding another one. So I carry this one on a toggle. Put it through my belt. Put it back through its own strap again. And it sits there nice and secure. Alright. Time for me to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around.